Hey, it's Mike from 424recording.com, and in today's video we're talking why you should only release singles. In today's fly-by-night culture, things change pretty quickly. You can never really tell what's going to last and what's not going to last, and it seems like in the internet age, nothing really lasts. So the speed of day-to-day life, I think, just dictates that if you want to be out there and get your stuff out there in terms of your music, you have to kind of be in people's faces all the time, doing the thing that you want to do. And also understand that once you're not in people's faces, things change pretty quickly. We no longer live in a 2-year album cycle world. I guess that works for some bands if you're like a legacy act or something, but I think for the modern musician, it makes sense to release singles. Scenes change, if the scenes even exist anymore. People move on, people get older. If you're not constantly available, then you're gonna be forgotten. In comparison to a 10-track album, it should take about 10 times less of the time to make a single. So in the amount of time that you spend working on an album, whether that's a year, 2 years, you could potentially be making a single in 1/10 of that amount of time. So if it takes you 1 year, it'll only take you a month and a half about to make a single. So rather than release an album once a year, you could be releasing a single every 1.2 months. At the end of those 12 months, then you could release an album as a compilation or just as your album. I think in a perfect world, you'd probably be able to release a single on that sort of a schedule and grow an existing fan base and go from there. One good thing about releasing singles and writing things more frequently is that you can try out new recording techniques or new song styles more easily when you're releasing stuff more frequently. Rather than get stuck with an idea for years at a time or work on the same album that sounds a similar way for a long period of time, you can switch up by the whim of what you want to try out as a musician or as an artist. Try something new, and if it doesn't work out, try something new the next time. You know, after every 1.2 months, things reset and you can try something else. With a faster release schedule, you can just release stuff more often. There's no shortage of music in today's world. I'm sure you know that as a musician or somebody who releases music into the world. So everybody is constantly grazing on things that they think may interest them or not. And they're trying to find that one meal or that one thing that they want to eat a lot of. A single is kind of like a small taste, obviously, of what you can do as a musician or a band. It can generate more interest in somebody if they're hungry for more. You know, giving someone an album is basically inviting somebody into a buffet. Not everybody's that hungry anymore. There's no shortage of music out there. And if they want to hear more of your stuff, they'll find it. One of the main inspirations for this video was the fact that I was checking out some of my Bandcamp statistics and realized that I've released 2 singles over the years and 2 albums. And what I realized was looking at the stats that whether I released a single or if I released an album, they had the exact same reach or the exact same interest. So it took me a lot longer to release the 2 albums in comparison to the 2 singles. And you know, the release schedule of releasing them was, I think, like a year apart or something. In that sense, for me, in my personal situation, your situation may be different. I realized that whether I release a single or an album, if I'm getting the same interest generated by doing that, doesn't it make more sense to just release a single? And this is coming from somebody who's always been an album person, and I've always been into albums and listening to albums. It's been really tough for me to change and to try to release singles because I just personally, as a musician, I think most music lovers still consume music based on an album cycle. But I don't know, in today's world and all the things I just mentioned, I think those are all compelling reasons to release singles. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. Do you think you should just release singles? Do you think albums are a good way to go as well? I'm going to be doing another video next week on why you should always release albums. If you want to check that out, it'll be coming out next week. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you nerd. This is Mike from 424recording.com. Godspeed, my friend. What's the last thing you put out, a single or an album? Or maybe it was an EP? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you do something you want to do today, all right? Peace.